Good morning.
It is a much warmer morning this time around.
Yeah, it's really warm in the
yeah,
studio here.
I'm really happy that it's a little bit warmer. I might have to go down toward the university a little bit later on in the day.
Yeah,
So, walking down the street. I love walking down State Street,
sure.
Interesting people you see there, you talk to, all the street people.
Sure.
Some are legends down there.
Been there for a while.
Yes, been there for a while.
Yeah.
I have a winter coat I wanted to kind of give away to somebody who may need it,
Oh.
But you don't carry a winter coat around with you normally all the time.
Right?
Just in case you see somebody who might need it. So
Sure.
Kind of rocking a hard place. I guess that's why they make Salvation Armies, right?
Well, I guess so. But you could still carry it around, from here down to the end of State Street just one time.
I guess I could. I didn't bring it with me today, though.
Oh, okay.
So I'll have to leave here and not have the coat this time again.
Okay.
Damn. Why are you guys, both of you,
What?
Sam and you have these long coats. These, I would assume that yours is some kind of wool.
It's a wool blend, I think.
We're just cooler than you, John.
I know.
I just got
right.
mine recently. It was like the weekend before Christmas.
No
Yeah.
kidding, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Same here. So, no, I got it, and it really keeps me warm when we get really cold weather.
Yeah.
It's much better than just a short coat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And it's surprising to see that, Sam and you both have gotten these coats during the winter.
Well, we like to go
When people-
shopping together and
when people need-
try on clothes.
Maybe they'll start building apartment complexes above the Salvation Army.
Oh, God.
So you guys could buy your clothes much easier.
That's a grand idea.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, it's 28 degrees, so not that bad.
It's
this
balmy
morning.
out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gonna see a high today. Well, should we get the roulette wheel?
Yes. Why don't we
Yeah,
get
we haven't
the
done
roulette
that.
wheel?
Done that for a while. Balls going around.
Well, the marble's polished. We have the cleaning service here. They've done a great job of keeping the marble in shape.
34 for high. Yes.
There you go.
The marbles are good.
Is that black or red?
Oh, black.
Okay.
Today.
All right.
Black 34. Okay. Okay. Well, here it is Thursday, almost the end of the week. We've got busted pencils a little bit later
That's
on.
right. Yes.
Tim Slekar.
I have to say that I had a revelation last night. Just after Joe Biden's speech, farewell speech,
Yeah.
I got a text from my MAGA friend in Milwaukee who said, "My God, I hope the door doesn't hit him in the ass on the way out. He's the worst president ever. He's as bad as Obama." Okay, these are the two worst presidents in history, by the way. So, and I just, it occurred to me that after that great speech that Biden put together, talking about, billionaires and
Oligarchs.
and oligarchs and in the direction the country seems to be taking, that didn't impress him at all. That didn't settle in. There isn't one comment in the entire speech that he would have brought up or did bring up to me. And that's what made me think that perhaps he's attracted to power, sheer power. There isn't anything within the details of that power or policy or anything that impresses him. He doesn't even have to think about it. All he needs is somebody who impresses him and has power. And that's I think what he looks at.
Yeah.
Because he didn't bring up anything in the speech. Now I would have brought up something. Well, I think this is a good point, but he's the worst president ever. You could say that, but you'll never hear that from a mega. You won't hear details
Specifics.
of anything.
Yeah.
And I think they're attracted to just the sheer power of things. Because think about it, Trump doesn't really describe any details of his policy. He doesn't know what a detail is. He has no concept of it. He just knows that this is what he wants to do, and he comes across very powerful. You know, and that is what they're attracted to. So that's my epiphany. That's where I'm at on this thing.
Yeah.
I don't think they see or hear any of it. And it, you know, ignorance is bliss. And in this case, you know, it is part of the cult. And I think I'm right on with this. And I'm going to have to tell Ben Wickler when he comes for an interview.
You're gonna let him know all this
what
stuff,
I'm thinking.
what you're thinking.
Yeah, and I'm sure
the direction of the Democratic
Ben will
Party.
say, "Oh my God, why didn't I think of that?"
Yes.
And I know
when is Ben scheduled to come in?
And I know that Sam has that all scheduled up. He was going to surprise me this morning, but and when
Well, we've got a lot of morning left to go. You'll still be surprised.
okay,
Yeah,
you can hold out.
Yeah,
Andy,
he
all
hasn't.
right?
He hasn't gotten anywhere. Okay. Should we get to the National Day calendar?
let's do that.
Okay, let's do it. Okay.
I have that off my chest now. I feel much
Glad
better.
you got that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here it is, January 16th. And is it Get to Know Your Customers Day or National Without a Scalpel Day?
Yep.
Is it National Fig Newton Day?
Scalpel day.
What the hell? National Clean Water Day, National Religious Freedom Day, or National Nothing Day? Which day does not belong in that group?
Nothing Day is not part of that group.
Actually, you are wrong again, sir. It is National Nothing Day. Sam, do you care to take a guess?
I don't think it's Clean Water Day, is
You're
it?
correct.
All right.
Yeah.
Why would you have thought that?
It just didn't sound right. I actually recognized a lot of these days from when we talked about
last
them
year?
last year. Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah, that is scary.
You got too good of a memory.
Right.
Let's find
why
out.
don't you get into education? You know, that-
Yeah.
Let's find out about National Nothing Day. People across the nation recognize National Nothing Day today. The observance was created as a day to provide Americans with one national day where they can just sit around without celebrating, observing, or honoring anything.
People,
perfect.
Most people do that all the time.
Yes. National Nothing Day only reports the days. Sometimes they may contradict themselves. Oh, okay. I see what they're saying. The calendar, the National Day calendar wants to distance themselves from some of these days
Because it's counter to what they're trying to do here.
Don't you think they're trying to? I mean, they decide these things. I mean,
Yeah.
why would they add it in if they
If
didn't
they
want to have
wanted-
anything to do with it?
If you wanted to avoid it, right?
I guess.
Make themselves irrelevant at this point.
Let's see.
Why not?
Well, it may be a good day to celebrate nothing at all. We
Yeah.
suppose putting nothing in a glass and setting it on the table might suffice for a celebration. Okay, that's just
Wow,
stupid.
That is really something. I got a whole countertop full of glasses with nothing in them.
Yeah. National Get to Know Your Customers Day, blah, blah, blah. National Without a Scalpel Day. What the heck
Please
does that
tell
mean?
me what that is.
Each year on National Without a Scalpel Day recognizes the opportunities to treat disease without a scalpel. On this day in 1964,
Yeah.
pioneering physician Charles Dotter performed the first angioplasty. The groundbreaking procedure to open a blocked blood vessel took place in Portland, Oregon. Not only did the angioplasty allow the patient to avoid leg amputation surgery, but she left the hospital days later with only a Band-Aid. So I'm not sure why that's celebrated on National Without a Scalpel Day.
Yeah,
Is that-
didn't
Is
they
today
use
the
a scalpel
anniversary
for
of that
that?
surgery, or what's the deal? I don't
There's
know.
no connection there. I don't know.
That's
It's making
weird.
it up.
That doesn't
No
make any
surgery, no
sense.
stitches, no scars. So that must have been performed without.
With a pencil?
I don't know how you do that.
You poke a hole in somebody's leg and you run the stent up?
Yeah,
or-
you just got a little floss out your arteries.
Yeah. Okay.
that
Let's
sounds
move
painful.
on. Yeah, it doesn't sound.
I would
good.
use the scalpel. There's a great bit from Laugh-In many years ago.
Yeah.
Geez, I wish I had that here now, but Rowan and Martin.
Yeah.
And one of them was like, talking about the operation. In the old days, they used to have an announcer say, "Well, they're about to take the procedure into this. They're about to,
Yeah.
have apply the anesthesia."
Yeah.
They always have that announcer in the background with a soft, quiet voice announcing what they're doing next. And
Right.
he goes, he's about to use a scalpel. Well, in this kind of case, they would not use a scalpel, but they would use a Zimmerman instead. And, the doctor would turn around and say, "What? Huh? What?" And then he would change his mind. Right? Anyway,
That was a good bit.
it was a great bit.
Old Ronan Martin.
It is
Yeah.
great stuff.
National Fig Newton Day today. You like Fig Newtons, John?
I love fig Newtons.
Yeah.
And all the different flavors now. They have, raspberry figs.
Yeah. Well, we should get a package of Fig Newtons
Shouldn't
today.
a Fig Newton be fig flavored?
Well, yeah, it's become kind of a standard name now. It's like, tissue paper. It's, it's like Kleenex, kind of a generic
Xerox
term.
machine.
Yeah, Xerox.
I don't know if I've ever had a Fig Newton.
Xerox. Yeah, it's just
Yeah, everybody uses that now.
they still use
Take it over to the Xerox.
Sam
What?
uses
What
Xerox.
the Xerox?
Sam loves Xerox machines. He has 2 of them.
For the longest time as a kid, I had no idea what that meant. I thought it was a swear word, actually.
That's funny. In 1891, boy, we're going back in the history.
Yeah.
Philadelphia baker and fig lover Charles Roser invented and patented a machine that inserted fig paste into a thick pastry dough. And we salute it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's great.
That's it for the National Day
That's it?
calendar. That's
All right.
plenty. That's plenty. We're going to get to the history books yet? Or are we going to wait?
Wait
just a
we
minute?
got a minute here.
We could wait. We have
What else do we have coming up on the show?
Well, like I mentioned before, Dr. Tim Slekar will join us in just about a half hour or less.
That's right. And then kind of a delayed response as far as the big story is concerned. It's also a little bit of idiocracy involved in it as well, because we've got that story from Biden, his final speech last night.
Yeah, it's farewell to the nation.
Hit the fan, boy. This is a big story.
Hit the road. Okay. Back with more of John and Gordy in a moment.
92.7 WMDX. And a very good morning from the John and Gordy in the Morning Show.
Good morning. The John and Gordy Morning Show is brought to you in part by Verlo Mattress. Sleep better, dream bigger on a handcrafted Verlo mattress. Find them on Madison's east side or west side, or just go online, verlo.com.
All right, now I guess to substantiate my story, my epiphany about MAGAs really not knowing any details or caring about details, they just care about power. That's my new theory.
That's your
because my friend,
theme.
Didn't like the speech from Biden, didn't mention anything from the speech, just said he was the worst president ever, and never mentioned one detail from the speech. And I think that's what they see: strength and power, and they're attracted to it like maggots to rotten meat.
Wow.
Wow,
Okay.
that is
Yeah.
descriptive. Lynn out in Golden Valley says, one of Jimmy's night shows set someone out into the interview on the street. Somebody, interview someone on the street with a MAGA hat.
Right.
The hat said Trump delivered on all of his promises, best president in history. So the interview asked what the specific promise this MAGA hat lover had.
You good there?
I can't read this. I
Well,
can't.
so
They
the
said
interviewer asked, what was the specific promise that the MAGA hat lover loved the best?
Okay, yeah. I mean, you could add words, in which I should be doing. Stunned silence, deer in the headlights. Then he said, "You caught me off guard. Need to think about it."
Yeah. Yeah, when you ask
So-
something specific like that.
And they do that all the time. All these man on the street interviews that we see out there, and they never have an answer.
Yeah.
They just generically like the guy because he's power.
He's power. Yeah.
I think
That's it.
the flip side is also true, is that they've got a common enemy. They all hate Democrats no matter what.
Right, exactly. They want to wipe us off the face of the earth. So there's nothing wrong with that. Domestic terrorism comes to mind. Same reaction as VP Trump when someone asked him his favorite Bible verse.
Nothing.
He's
Yeah.
selling Bibles. Shouldn't he know his favorite verse?
He ought to have at least one
Yeah.
or two on
And
standby.
Lynn brings up a good point. He is the VP. Elon is the guy in charge. So
He's got the power.
he does. All right, let's get to the history book.
Yes.
History book. Oh boy.
What do we got?
I like the electronic history book. I think it's much better.
I was down in the Wisconsin Historical Society yesterday.
What were
looking
you
at
doing
some of their
there?
Archives. Well, I was looking at old issues of the Cap Times from the early '90s. I was trying to find articles about you guys, and I got to tell you, they must. I don't know what it is. They keep that place a whole lot cleaner than this book gets every day. I don't know how this thing gets so dusty.
Because it's all digitized now.
No,
Get with
I
it.
taught myself how to use a microfilm reader yesterday, and it was actually making me motion sick.
You kind of like that, didn't you?
I do, yeah. It was cool. It was making me motion sick, actually, seeing all the pages fly past.
Yeah.
I couldn't look at it for too long.
No, I sent you.
That's
I
funny.
sent you the dates that you were kind of looking for, but I know it was way too late. I know you still weren't there.
Yeah, I might
Yeah.
go back and take a look at some point.
Yeah.
What are you looking up the history on us for? What?
To see if it's real.
Really?
I mean, a lot of that stuff you can print up yourself.
Yeah, who knows if you guys actually have any history in radio at all?
Wow. Okay. Thanks, Sam. That's
Well, we used
Good little
AI to
project
produce these newspaper clippings.
Yeah. All right.
did you find anything? I mean, or
No,
was it,
well, not on you guys. I did find
Okay.
some cool, interesting stuff from the Cap Times back in the day. I found the article when they first published what the area code for Madison would be when they were first instituting area codes. When they first gave us the 608 number.
That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, I found an article on Scott Klug back in the 90s.
Yeah.
I saw a really brief one about something that Trump was doing back in the 90s.
Oh.
People were complaining about him raising prices at one of his resorts.
okay?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay.
back to today, though. Today in history. Way back, 1547. I'm sure you remember it like yesterday.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know the name Ivan the Terrible?
Oh, what a terrible guy.
He was a
that
terrible guy. Yeah.
You never invite him to a party.
Ivan the Terrible was crowned the first Tsar of Russia.
I think he gave himself that name, or was that his birth
There you
name?
go.
Or
Yeah, his mother must not have liked him, right?
apparently.
I think the reason is because he was constantly at war with other countries and the people hated him for it because they never won any of the wars.
Oh,
That could be it.
sad.
So maybe not a good idea for what Trump wants to do with Greenland and Panama and all those places. Today in 1883, the Civil Service Reform Act was signed into law and established the meritocracy in government that some people are trying to do away with now.
Okay.
All right.
And today
Next.
in 1919, I don't think you mentioned it with the rest of the National Day calendar, the 18th Amendment was ratified. And do you know what the 18th Amendment
That
did?
was not a good thing to do. Prohibition.
Prohibition.
Prohibition, yeah. Went into effect a year later, and then it lasted until 1933 when it was
Yeah, it
repealed.
lasted a while.
That was essentially the TikTok of the day.
You think so? Okay.
Except nobody liked it, though, is the problem. Nobody paid attention to it.
Did not stop people from drinking.
Exactly.
Right.
I remember reading once about a journalist who went to different major cities in the U.S. and recorded how long it could take him, like from just walking around on the street to find a drink somewhere. I think New Orleans was the fastest. He hopped into a taxi and he asked the taxi driver where he could get a drink. And then the guy just pulled out a bottle from under his seat and handed it to him.
Wow. Yeah, I thought they were looking for speakeasies in all the states where they're known to have a few. And I thought they were also looking for maybe warehouses where they stored some of the stuff that may still be there after all these years.
Remember the speakeasy here in Madison, the barber's closet?
Yes, a barber's closet. Yeah.
What was it, Club to Wash?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was great.
That was
That was
love
really
going
fun.
down there.
I know. That was really.
It's right next to the barber shop. And
Yeah.
In fact, I used to meet my friends there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a very
Kind of a
cool place.
Secret place.
Yeah. It
wasn't
all
really.
burned down. Yeah.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah.
I was going to say
Yeah.
we should go there sometime, but I
No.
guess not.
Well, that was like a 3-floor building of just entertainment.
Oh, they had great bands.
Yeah, it was one of the best places in town.
Yeah. Those were the days. Okay. 6:29 coming up. From Busted Pencils, Dr. Tim Slekar will be joining us in just a few minutes on John and Gordy.
I haven't tried calling. Oh, you don't have your headphones on. I haven't tried calling with like a hardwired line ever.
Oh,
So I don't know.
well, no, I mean, I'm not using hardwire, but you have to always dial the area code in the Madison area now,
Yeah.
or Wisconsin maybe, because they have different area codes and you have to do that now.
Right.
New area
Oh,
codes.
sorry.
Hi, Tim.
Turn on the screen. There we go.
Morning. What's going on?
Oh boy, not too much. I saw what you planted out there as far as podcasts are concerned. I'm trying to avoid dropping the word drop. I know you dropped them, but no, I'm using planting. Maybe I think drop
Planting,
is still
yeah.
better. Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, a podcast drop. That seems to be the lingo.
Yeah, that's the lingo now.
Yeah.
I wrote down a few notes quick. So if you want to
Go ahead.
eliminate or use any of
No.
these, comparing education reform in red and blue states, which you didn't approve of, right? You did
Right.
not like those ideas. How about a lack of accountability in public schools? Your thing was to benefit kids. Why aren't we improving schools to benefit kids?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In
I mean-
general way.
It was, that reform thing is this point. I don't know. This guy, we have fun with that guy who writes that article because he cannot give up on school choice and education reform.
Oh, okay.
You know, did you listen to the Howard Gardner?
I did not listen to it, but I looked at the notes. I wanted to listen to it, but my
Okay.
dog and my family started getting on my case last night. I don't like it when I do all my homework. But I have written here, Gardner, more ways to be intelligent, which I thought was really an interesting concept, using each person's intelligence and strengthening each person's
Yeah.
talents.
Yeah,
Right.
he I mean, this is 30 years now. He put forth this idea which was called multiple intelligences, which was a counter to the one intelligence
26.
test,
Mhm.
which is academic, and saying, guess what? There are people who are gifted and intelligent in different ways, just that schools typically mostly don't measure. And in fact, so athletic, artistic, those are intelligences. So
This portion of the show is being brought to you by Teeth R Us, the world's largest tooth care center. Remember, when you have a bad tooth pulled at Teeth R Us, we'll remove 2 healthy teeth absolutely free. And don't forget to bring the kids along to swim in our heated Olympic-sized 40-foot spit sink.
A lot of bonuses there.
Yeah,
Wow.
They add to it every time. This is John and Gordy in the morning. Beautiful morning, nice and warm, balmy
28
out there.
degrees
Yeah.
currently. Yeah.
It's going to go way up, and then we're going to take out the
Mid-30s.
grill and start
Yep.
cooking brats again.
Yep.
Oh, my gosh.
Let's get to it.
Well, it is a Thursday morning, and each and every Thursday morning we go to Busted Pencils, and Dr. Tim Slekar is with us this morning.
Wow.
And you've got a whole bunch of podcasts out there for people to listen to.
lots of things, lots of
Yeah.
stuff going on. I just I'm interested though. You have to wait until it's 30 degrees for brats. I
guess.
I didn't know there were rules on that. I mean, I remember
Yeah.
my time living in Madison,
Yeah.
minus 20 was also a very appropriate temperature for cooking brats.
You know, you're right.
You're right.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're right, but I got spoiled with the electronic brat machine. No, and we have a pellet cooker now, smoker,
Yeah.
and you got to plug them in, and you got to make sure they're not in the snowdrift or anything like that for electricity's sake. And so we're waiting until it warms up just a little bit, so we don't have all those dangers.
Hey, there's an inside gadget called the air fryer.
Yes, I know. I haven't tried that yet. On brats, that would be kind of an interesting experiment.
Hey, you know,
Have you tried it? Tim?
yes, yeah, absolutely. When you
Oh.
want a brat, I'm
Yeah.
telling you, you don't let the weather get in your way. You make other arrangements.
Beautiful. Okay. All
There you
right.
go.
See,
There's
we
a little
learned
tip.
something right away.
I didn't even know that, and I'm
Yeah.
here in Wisconsin. I'm a
Yeah,
hardcore Wisconsinite.
Yeah.
Wow.
Whew.
All right.
Well,
you
just
have
there it
proves
is.
we can learn something new every day, and that's your department.
Maybe we'll bust some pencils about indoor brat cooking next week. I don't know.
There you go. I think why not? Now you have a person that who puts out a column, and you love kind of tearing those columns apart.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Well, he's a constant cheerleader for school choice, testing and punishing, and he does not want to admit that the new Republican MAGA party
Mhm.
is going to probably go in a different direction when it comes to ed reform, which is just the total obliteration of public schools.
Yes.
And this dude has made, a 30-year living off of making fun of public schools. And I think now he's come to the realization that, wow, this MAGA movement might end his gravy train, because with no public schools to pick on, what's he gonna do?
Yeah.
And,
Good point. Yeah.
he can't. So this is Michael Petrilli from the Fordham Foundation, and he kind of wrote this piece, and it's all over the place, but championing the the No Child Left Behind, Race to the Top years, and saying that Republicans still have the most to gain by continuing that onslaught.
Yeah.
And so we just kind of took that apart and said, actually, when you start talking about reforming schools,
Mhm.
neither the Republicans or the Democrats are actually really great at reforming schools to make them places of learning for all kids, for all families.
That's right.
In
You
f-
mentioned that in the
yeah.
podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, when you look at the ed reform movement that he's talking about, the No Child Left Behind, Race to the Top era, that was a combined Republican Democratic attack on what we'd say is like really individual abilities to learn, and really turned everything into, can you do a bubble test about math and reading?
Mm-hmm.
And those were dark days. I mean, the darker days are definitely ahead, it looks like. But to say that you want to get back to that era, and what Johnny and I were saying in Busted Pencils is, what a unique opportunity right now as public schools are fighting for their lives. Maybe one of the things they might want to fight for their lives and lead with is that we're going to start looking at all kids and really developing places of learning that engage all kinds of kids, all, like kids who are really good in music and things like that, kids who are really good in art, certain kids who have an ability to shine in different ways other than an academic bubble test.
Yeah, yeah. How hard is that to do, though? I mean, a lot of kids. I mean, it's every kid who has a special ability. Everyone is born with that. How do you focus on that, and how do you specifically help them out with all the other kids in that school?
You hire like millions of teachers and drop class sizes down to 1-to-1, and
There it is. That's the solution.
Next.
everybody's like, there are no solutions out there, Tim. I'm like, there are plenty of solutions.
Yeah.
It's just that you might not. No, I think as the ability for really great teachers to recognize and lift all kids is actually something out there. And then when you talk to teachers, understand that most of them, that's why they got into it. This idea that they could individually work with children to lift them out. And in fact, the movement has always been, no, teach towards this kind of middle average, normal group of kids who can, score average on bubble tests. Those kids who do poorly, forget about them. That we,
Right.
and so that school Johnny always says this. It's like, we got to get away from schooling and reestablish education. Because the purpose of schooling is actually to separate out, certain groups of kids, elevate certain groups of kids, and then move those certain elevated groups of kids, into like the top performing. But that the majority, and this goes back to our episode we did with Ira Sokol, the majority of kids, hey, they're just things you need to find placeholders, low wage minimum jobs, and sort them out. So this is the time to say, hey, we can recognize all kids. And in fact, we then, the next podcast we dropped last week was with Dr. Howard Gardner, who is
Yes.
an absolute, massive rock star in education, because about 35 years ago, he actually recognized and put together a position that said, hey, guess what? The intelligence on the intelligence test, that's only one way that certain kids can excel. And he used a real easy example, which was Michael Jordan is intelligent and gifted athletically. Given an intelligence test, people like Michael Jordan might only score, quote, average,
Yeah,
or seem like
yeah.
the rest of us.
Yeah.
But that type of intelligence that schools were measuring is very limited, and in fact doesn't recognize a full spectrum. And he put forth in saying there are multiple intelligences. There's athletic intelligence, there's artistic intelligence, there's just all these different ways. And when you recognize that, schooling then becomes either one way. You said it becomes, oh my goodness, how are we going to ever reach all of these multiple intelligences? Or it becomes this really exciting place where you're like, wow, I could teach this way, I can work with this student this way, this student who's really excelling over here in some form of buildings things, let's let them just be really great at the things they're intelligent about. And so that's exciting. And
It is.
we're trying to put that forward as going, as public schools are going to fight for their lives in the next 4 years, maybe they could fight for not just their lives, but actually put forward a vision that harnesses that unique, awesome power of individual kids and celebrate learning in lots of ways. Because arguing that we need to maintain public schools so that we can continue to offer standardized tests and keep places like Pearson, thriving with multi-billion-dollar contracts, that's not a real nice, exciting vision.
No,
So
it isn't.
anyway, that's a whole lot. Sorry there.
Well, no, that is a whole lot, but I won't. Actually, I had that idea a long time ago, and I want to tout my idea here. But I always thought that when you have these athletes that go into college, they always fake like, well, they have to pass this intelligence exam, and I was thinking to myself, just their ability in sports is so fantastic. Why do we put this intelligence test in when we really should encourage, their talent in athletics?
Yeah.
And I always thought why pretend like they have to be really smart in college when their real ability is in athletics, right?
Well, when you say really smart too, understand that we've really limited to what we believe smart is. Now, I can hear somebody out there going, "Oh, so athletes don't need to learn how to read and do math." No, that's not what we're saying. There is an academic kind of situation where we're saying, like, look, yeah, we need basic skills. We need to learn how to be literate. We need to learn how to, and everybody, but to mandate that everybody only excel in traditional, quote, literacy, mathematics, academics, that's as insane to then say to athletes, you can only be smart in athletics.
Yes.
Right? Because, but then, so what you're saying though, John, is that when we punish athletes for being great athletes, but maybe being average in some
Right,
other
exactly.
academics, that doesn't make sense, because we never punish, quote, gifted, intelligent kids for being really crappy
Exactly.
at dodgeball.
Yeah.
I mean, we like those kids. I mean,
I love dodgeball.
what I was gonna say, I mean, they're
That was fun.
those super smart, intelligent kids in dodgeball. Who else are you going to throw the ball at first?
Good point.
I was always really good at four squares, but I don't know if anybody's familiar with that game.
We're talking with Dr. Tim Slekar from Busted Pencils. So, Tim, are there different testing companies that are coming up with new types of IQ tests to sort of guide
No.
the teachers? And so that's not
No,
happening.
well, because there's not big, there's not big money in developing that. But
well, aren't we doing something like that with AP though? Allowing people to excel in areas that they are very good at by putting them in accelerated.
But even AP
classes.
and accelerated, right? It still really is this form of academic kind of traditional literacy, book smartness. How long can you buckle down? And in fact, a lot of AP is actually more of a kind of like like a Navy SEALs approach to learning, where it's like, you will read 1,000 pages tonight. You will write 500 and
Navy SEALs
and
approach.
look to your left and look to your right.
Yeah.
At the end of the month, most of these people won't be in AP anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. It really is. I just want to say that I had an English teacher in 8th grade way back in, I can't remember what year. But we were looking at Great Expectations, and we're supposed to write something on Great Expectations, our impressions of it, so on and so forth. But I didn't do that. I, at the time, was drawing comic books in my free time, and I decided to draw a comic book version of Great Expectations, at least the first 5 or 6 pages of it. And the English teacher was very good, and he wanted me to do it. It was exciting for him to see somebody take a different approach to the assignment.
Yeah, back in the day, we weren't able to categorize you as not smart in English, so the teacher kind of lifted you up. But no, I mean that's a great example of what you're saying there, John. Right? So how do we get back to that?
All right,
Tim, sorry to interrupt.
Nope.
We will be back with more with Dr. Tim Slekar from Busted Pencils in just a moment.
But what you're talking about there, John, too, it's this alternative ways to. So your teacher there, right, had that ability,
yes,
to say, "Hey, this is John really showing what he knows about this, really long, horrendously boring book."
Mm-hmm. Yes. So, in my mind, I painted all these pictures of what Dickens was able to portray in that book. I mean, it was, you could visualize almost everything in that book. I mean, that's how detailed it was, right?
Yeah, and I make fun. I actually really appreciate Charles Dickens, but I mean, as you said, it's just so big and so in depth.
It is.
But to translate those words then into images and pictures, that what a great connection there that you can demonstrate.
I just thought I was really grateful that he allowed me to do something like that.
Yeah, and now think about that. When you then move, quote, education reform the way that Michael Petrilli was saying, which is to go, no. John needs to be able to demonstrate that he understands Great Expectations the real way.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
With a test. Okay. None of this comic book drawing crap.
Yeah, what is that? Comic books, at the time.
And then he might actually learn to like school.
Yeah, which I did at that point. Then I think I even got better in English, or at least, what I was trying to do or what he was teaching. So, I guess there was this mutual respect that you finally got.
But then back on to your other point, though, about how do you reach all of these
Wait, we're going over everything we're going to talk about next.
All right, I'll save it.
All right.
But there might be a way to reach multiple intelligences.
song.
Yeah,
I'm afraid we can't do that, John.
I just love this thing.
I know, it's great.
Aliota Haynes and Jeremiah, Lakeshore Drive.
Lakeshore Drive.
All right, we're talking with Tim Slekar from Broken Pencils and
Busted
kidding.
pencils, John.
I'm just kidding.
You
These
always
guys-
get that
see,
wrong.
Yeah, Sam always loves it when I do get that wrong.
Just testing you.
Yeah.
This portion of John and Gordy Morning Show brought to you by Verlo Mattress. Sleep better, dream bigger on a Verlo mattress. You can find them on Madison's east side or west side or at verlo.com.
This is where being leaded is still good.
We celebrate lead.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, we used to celebrate Mercury in our classes back in the 50s. So
Hey,
we've moved on.
that's awesome stuff to play with.
It
Yeah.
was. I thought it was. We lost
we-
an awful lot of it on the floor. But I was talking about, drawing comics. At the time, I was doing superhero comics in 8th grade, and I decided to do a illustrated version of Great Expectations, which would have been a long comic
Oh,
and
very long.
a long
You're,
assignment.
you're
for-
still working on it, right?
Yeah, I'm still actually I haven't finished it yet. But the English teacher was just fantastic at accepting that interpretation of
Yeah.
instead of doing a theme or our interpretation of what we thought about the novel, I could do pictures of it.
Mhm.
And that really, I have to say, it encouraged me a lot in the English class as well. And, I got better as a student, and I had a tremendous amount of respect for the teacher for letting
Wow.
me do that.
Yeah, I took a journalism class in high school, and we put out the weekly
Yeah.
newspaper, and the journalism teacher was just great. It's like, well, what do you want to write about? And, well, I thought I'd write about music, and he goes, well, why don't you do like a weekly review of albums or something? And I thought, I can do that?
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Really? So listen to music and then talk about what I think about it. It really, it was a moment for me that
And
I remember. I'm
And then he
like,
came up with a bubble test for you.
yeah. And then,
Look, you
Yeah,
cannot.
and-
Listening to The Dark Side of the Moon is not going to count anymore. Okay.
right.
My goodness, you're gonna. Who knows what'll happen if you continue down that pathway?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
isn't that what Gardner's really talking about?
Yeah.
Then is going for each individual's strengths and intelligence, and then focusing on that.
And the question too about, well, then doesn't that make the teacher's job hard?
Mhm.
Because guess what? There are lots of people who have multiple intelligences. And I'm gonna, I see there's a caller, but I'm gonna put this out
Yep.
there and go, hey, guess what? Maybe AI might have something to do about helping us. Just
yes.
just planting that out there.
Well,
Okay.
I know that we were going to talk about that AI, actually a camera on you and AI interpreting your look and your interest level. I thought that was really, that is a good application of AI, isn't it?
Mhm. Yeah.
All right, well, let's go. Let's take this caller.
Let's go to the phones.
It's Catherine. I believe we know who Catherine is.
Good morning.
Well, I'm just thrilled that you're having this conversation, as always, with Tim Slekar. And it's right in my wheelhouse, Tim. What schools, educators are doing is not creating workers. They're creating people, citizens, and helping them, ideally, in the best schools, become the best they can be. I graduated from my high school with high honors, and that was not my chemistry grades, I can tell you that. It was because they offered multiple kinds of musical outlets. I was a musician, clearly. My mother was a professional musician. My sister became a professional musician, having gone through that same school. They had multiple choruses, bands, and an orchestra, full instrument orchestra. And so I got H's, honors, in all my music classes. I was a pretty good writer, so I got into AP English or whatever. But I'm telling you, science and math was not my thing, but I still got a degree with high honors from high school that got me into a college for music because that's what my emphasis was. And they saw that. And teachers like Tim get that.
Yeah, that's awesome, Catherine. Thanks for pointing that out. and people can say this. My guess is Catherine went to school before we found the holy grail of the bubble test. You know,
Yeah.
but thinking about that, yeah, that's a great example, and I think everybody listening out there can go, oh yeah, I was really good at. Oh yeah, I was really good at. And there's probably a time where some of those were able to be seen, but then come back to now and saying, well, geez, if Howard Gardner's pointing out multiple intelligence, spatial intelligence, emotional intelligence,
Yes, yeah.
athletic intelligence, scientific. How the heck is a teacher going to deal with all of those intelligences out there? Because that becomes, and yeah, that's a challenging job. But I would say it's our job as teachers to find those unique gifts in all kids and really
Mm.
allow them to excel, like Catherine was saying. But now, actually, we actually have some really amazing tools. And I would tell people start looking at artificial intelligence as an agent that would help you. So, as a great teacher, my
Mhm.
ability now to sit down with AI in the evening before I'm ready to go to school the next day, say,
Yeah.
I've got 3 students who are awesome at art. I've got 3 students who seem to have this mechanical inclination. I have some students who are really having a tough time reading. I'm now going to teach great expectations. Help me put together a lesson plan, and boom, AI puts out a lesson plan and says, hey, for these kids, try this. For these kids, try this.
That's
There's,
beautiful.
you know,
That's going to be a big help.
Great.
yeah.
Dr. Tim Slekar, thanks for joining us. You can listen to Busted Pencils, new podcast Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and Saturday afternoon live on the Civic Media at 3
Fun
o'clock.
to listen to.
Yeah.
All right,
Thank
Tim.
you. And Tim,
Thank you.
we're coming back and talk about President Biden's farewell speech to the nation.
A big moment about oligarchs. All right.
All right, guys. Yeah, thanks. And we're going to be having
Great.
some more AI stuff coming up because that really is that ability.
Yeah.
There's some cool stuff coming out. So,
What they were talking about online. Online is a disaster. It hasn't worked at all. But now with cameras watching the person, on online learning can improve tremendously if they can, use the AI in order to figure out what their strengths are, what their interest levels are.
there's a lot
stuff like that.
there's stuff we can do, yeah, and the technology's there, and so it kind of comes back to this, do we want to do it? And the status quo, and this is said, is political parties don't matter here because the status quo is that
Hmm.
teach to what they call the middle, which is then we don't reach all kids, and it creates, as Catherine says, we create a working class, and it's like, guess what? We don't need a working class anymore because there might not be the kind of workers we imagine anyway.
Right.
And so it's I see a real opportunity in front of us.
I see a bad opportunity with this presidency.
Oh my God, I know.
Where our moment where we can actually advance all this stuff is going to be delayed by 4 years. That's what I'm
It's
thinking.
going to be delayed, but it also potentially, and this is what we've been pushing, it gives the Democrats a real powerful counter message.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
where they have for the longest time have been kind of on this message of, punish schools, punish kids, get test
Mhm.
scores up, get test scores up. And it's like, hey, that's not a winning argument right now. And guess what? If you pivot maybe to the point of advocating for really great learning, maybe that might be, it's not going to, yeah, as you said, it's not going to stave off the damage of the next 4 years, but it might empower you to actually have a more bold vision, because after these 4 years, we're going to have to rebuild, hopefully.
Yeah. I hope.
So,
All right.
all right, guys,
All
have
right,
a great
Tim.
week. Have a great
Thanks a lot.
weekend. Thanks.
Thanks, Tim.
Take care.
It's the John and Gordy Show.
Do you know what this means?
Wouldn't you like to know, weather boy?
You're pretty high and far out, aren't you? What kind of kick are you on, son?
You no good bastard. Your show sucks.
What made me think this was a good day to stop drinking? Buddy, you want coffee?
Coffee.
Black coffee.
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 They warned us about people like you!
What a load of crap.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
We'll do it live.
And that's the way it is.
On 92.7 FM, WMDX. Take it away, boys.
And this is John and Gordy in the morning, a special edition, the Tech Industrial Complex Day edition of the show.
The Tech Industrial Complex.
Yeah, isn't that a great application?
That's what Biden said last night
Yeah,
in his
of
speech.
the old Eisenhower speech.
About the military industrial complex, the warnings.
And we never took that warning seriously. Now states depend on the military for jobs, and we're just building stuff so we could build it.
Yeah,
and make money. That's about it. But it was a fantastic, an interesting speech. It was great. I mean, he didn't sit there and blow his horn constantly. He brought up what he had done very quickly, but then he got into the darker part of his speech. At least that's what the media is saying. It's a dark. But
things,
dark. What are the dark
things to worry about?
What do they call him? Dark Brandon? Is that it? Right?
Dark Brandon.
The
with,
Dark
the,
Brandon.
with the laser
Yeah,
eyes.
yeah. That came out last night in the middle of the speech.
Oh, yes.
And he started talking about it. And I have the clip right here, and I just I encourage a little input from our listeners this morning, because
phone lines are open.
We would love to hear your impressions of what he is saying and his message. I know you probably watched it last night, but I'm going to play it here for you now. And just give us a call. Go to that Civic Media app and hit the text button, or you can give us a call. Either way, just give us your impressions. I think this is really going to be a major part of the speech that will be remembered for a long period of time. Let's listen to it.
It's also clear that American leadership in technology is an unparalleled source of innovation that can transform lives. We see the same dangers of the concentration of technology, power, and wealth. His farewell address, President Eisenhower spoke of the dangers of the military-industrial complex. He warned us then about, and I quote, the potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power, end of quote. 6 decades later, I'm equally concerned about the potential rise of a tech-industrial complex that could pose real dangers for our country as well. Americans are being buried under an avalanche of misinformation and disinformation, enabling the abuse of power. The free press is crumbling. Editors are disappearing. Social media is giving up on fact-checking. The truth is smothered by lies told for power and for profit. We must hold the social platforms accountable to protect our children, our families, and our very democracy from the abuse of power. Meanwhile, artificial intelligence is the most consequential technology of our time, perhaps of all time. Nothing offers more profound possibilities and risks for our economy and our security, our society, for humanity. Artificial intelligence even has the potential to help us answer my call to end cancer as we know it. But unless safeguards are in place, AI could spawn new threats to our rights, our way of life, to our privacy, how we work, and how we protect our nation. We must make sure AI is safe and trustworthy and good for all humankind. In the age of AI, it's more important than ever that the people must govern. And as the land of liberty, America, not China, must lead the world in the development of AI.
That's right.
Okay.
That's like putting the guideposts in for AI. It's a funny thing. My older son is bringing this up constantly to me, all the time about AI. He's saying that certain kinds of AI should be banned, but the use of AI in certain aspects of industry or creation is okay, but there has to be guidelines to how you use AI. But again, he was very specific about it. I can't quite repeat what he said. I don't know. We could ask him, but he's not here right now, and he's probably, sleeping maybe. Anyway, he has a specific idea how AI should be used and how it shouldn't be used. And in this case, at least in what he's talking about, the tech industrial complex, we're seeing oligarchs who are the owners of all of this, the AI. Meta, we have Elon doing his thing. And who knows who's going to own TikTok eventually. It's not going to be Elon. It would be crazy if he took it, because it's just a duplication, essentially, of what, X is or Twitter is. So it would be kind of stupid. Of course, he could afford it,
But China has said they're not going to sell it to him.
That's what
anyway.
they came right out after the rumor came out that he was thinking about it. China said, no way. And ByteDance says, not a chance. But it'd be great to have some other company take over. Some of the guys on Shark Tank have put a offer in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I don't understand the algorithm aspect of it, because they mentioned that they don't want to buy or use the algorithm. They want to buy the software, but they don't want to use that particular algorithm. I'm not quite sure what that means or how that affects TikTok.
Well, there's got to be some guidelines, going forward, and who, if not the government, is going to put that in?
Yes.
I mean, it's got to be governed.
It has to be. I mean, just like Biden mentioned here, truth is being smothered by lies, and that's what Meta has done, basically, by not preventing lies from getting out there, or having some it's a private company, remember, folks. This isn't the government. So they can make up any rule they want, and they can prevent lies from being put on their sites if they wanted to. But in this case, free speech, will just let the community decide and post warnings there. That's not it.
Work.
There's going to be so much junk out there, so many lies put out there, that you're not going to be able to find the truth.
Our phone lines are open, 608-879-8255, or you can jump on the Civic Media app and shoot us a text. Like to know what you think.
Yeah. I mean, the idea is that, we should have guardrails in place when it comes to AI and tech. And I don't know if it's too late. Now, we talked to Mike McCabe about this. He brought this up a while ago, and it was an epiphany for me. I mean, I didn't even think about it, but, just like they put guardrails in for broadcast stations, television and radio, it really helped the industry. And by the way, they had to serve the community. That was the biggest aspect of these guardrails, is serving the community. We did not put that in for the internet, and it just grew and grew, and it became a source of news now for everybody in the country, and we don't have guardrails for that. We didn't control that aspect of it, or they could lose their licenses, or right? I mean,
you had to have a license. Yeah.
That's the whole thing. So is it too late to put something like that in place? I don't know. I hope not. I think if we were smart, we would try to do something like that. We're not going to be smart because we've got a real dumbass moving into the White House soon. I mean, that's the truth. This guy is not a detailed person at all. He's out there. He's just Mr. Power. He's comparing his power to other people's power, the size of their power. He's comparing sizes here.
And and Elon's right there with him.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just...
Sam, what were you going to say?
What were you
Well,
say?
you make the comparison to radio, and I'd say, John, don't ever lose hope, because if you think about the early days of radio, like really early days, it was a lot of amateur radio operators doing stuff, just kind of messing around, a lot like the early days of the internet, where there weren't a ton of people creating content for the internet, but they were out there. And then World War I happened. Radio got weaponized by the country to use against other countries, to use for its own use, which sort of is what's happening now. It's by private companies and, I guess, the president-to-be. And it wasn't until like the early 30s, whenever the Communications Act was passed under FDR, that we had real regulation of the broadcast industry. So you had like 20 years of radio before anything like really good came of it. And so don't lose hope that something similar could happen to the internet and to social media, where we could put something in place for it to serve people in a more beneficial way.
Wow, I'm just,
Sam, you're very optimistic about that.
I have hope again.
Well, good. I'm glad, John.
I put it in perspective, historical perspective. I appreciate that. Wow, great stuff there. He's going to get into history. He's becoming a history teacher right here on the air live with us.
Well, what's going to happen with TikTok now? I mean, it's just down to a few days, and then they're going to just shut it off?
Yeah.
Flip the switch.
That's it, huh? We don't know.
Well, that was another thing I was going to say. Are you guys familiar with Vine?
No.
Vine was a sort of social media platform in the early 2010s. It was like TikTok, but it never really grew into a political and information platform like TikTok did. It was kind of just short form videos, and it was like the first one to do that. And I think it just kind of went out of business. It went away. But then TikTok came along, something very similar to what Vine was. If TikTok goes away this weekend, I think something very similar is going to come along no matter what, unless some sort of regulation gets put into place.
Well, there are some alternatives out there that we've heard about, Lemon8 and a few others.
We're going to get into that. In fact, the Daily Show did a bit on that. Desi Leidick is is changing. She's going from X to something else and something else and something else. It's a great bit, and we'll play that next.
Yep, coming up on John and Gordy in the morning.
He's warning that there's a propane shortage and, get this, oil. And I'm thinking,
what?
Could there be any person out there still heating with oil? I mean,
there are.
I'm sure there must be.
I hope not, because I mean, we had the oil shortage a decade ago or so, and that probably
heating oil,
like Brittany just said, up in Wausau. I was at an estate sale a few weeks ago up in Wausau, and there was a big tank in the garage. The house was still heated with oil.
That's not
good.
Up
north they're using some
old
school ways. Yeah,
wow.
The coal.
God,
too.
Coal.
Coal?
Wow. I'm serious. Like,
I mean, way up north, if you got like a
whatever.
stove in a cabin, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, an actual house, family living with coal heat.
Yes.
Their little stove in the house heating up and having vents going upstairs. So
I
the
even
heat
saw this in
rises.
Green Bay too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my!
There's a house I was looking to buy. I was like, I'm not dealing with that.
No. Oh,
it was on the bay too. It was lakefront property.
Oh no, you're kidding.
No.
15 seconds.
Yeah, it's hard.
Right.
Ow! Oh! Woo! Good now!
90.7 WMDX.
Get down with your bad self one time.
Comes up with a song like this.
What's great?
What inspiration
Gets
did
you
you have
moving
for
and
that?
grooving.
Dance.
I know, but he came up with songs like this all the time. And they were all a little bit different, but they were all great performed songs. All right. Well, anyway,
7:21. Time to get to Brittany Merlot.
yes, we're off the air. We're talking about Governor Evers declaring an emergency due to the winter storm. And we're thinking, what winter storm? We don't have a winter storm. It's going on all over the country, though, and that's preventing propane and oil from making its way into our state. It's slowing down the process a little bit, so we might have a shortage here, and he's declared that energy emergency due to that. And Brittany was telling us about an experience she had with a house I think you were interested in buying, but unfortunately, it was heated in a way that... Go ahead.
Old school. What is that called? The wood stove or the coal heating, where you've got the one place and it heats the whole entire house, but I couldn't deal with that.
Unbelievable. And
Too old school for me.
it was a lakefront, or was it a bayfront thing?
Yes, it was a bayfront on Green Bay. The house was beautiful. It was on the smaller side, like you can tell that everybody else had built around and built up. But this one, it was old.
What was it? One of those kind of homes that you would normally tear down and then build something in its place on its footprint? Is that
Probably.
something?
I don't know. I wouldn't say it needed to be teared down, but definitely added on to and upgraded.
Okay. Yeah.
So
All
in the
right.
Northwoods, we're using some old school ways. Definitely the oil, the coal, the wood, all of that.
Yeah, I know we had that oil and propane shortage a while back, and I thought that would probably change everybody over real quick. But, propane is used everywhere up north.
Yep.
In all those homes. So, but oil, I thought at least they'd get rid of oil, and they haven't done that either. So, all right.
Well, and there's still plenty of people that use wood, just wood burning stoves.
Oh, yeah,
they have those big
that's
wood
true.
burners that are set away from the house. That you
Yeah.
can stoke them up for all night long.
Well, they live out there in the North Woods.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
even here in the southern part of the state.
Oh,
see
really?
Some of that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Well, Brittany, let's turn to weather. It's not as cold this morning. A little bit of a break from the chilly conditions.
That's right. You were right.
Dave.
We were going to get a break.
Yeah.
Just a little break. Don't worry. There's a price to pay. There's always a price to pay.
Oh, great.
I
Give us the lowdown.
So it's going to be breezy today. Winds about 30 miles per hour as our high temperatures do hit the mid 30s. So we are going to climb above freezing. This is the warmest day up until tomorrow, where we could hit 40 degrees with those winds gusty out of the south. Yes.
Gonna get out the grill.
Yeah.
Do some brat cooking.
Plug in the pellet grill and get those brats cooking.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. The good smells of Wisconsin.
Oh,
Do
you
it.
bet. Yeah.
Oh, goodness, because we drop cold on Saturday. Honestly, highs in the teens, and those winds start to whip. They won't quit. So it's already going to feel like about 0 for Saturday. Then we don't climb above 0 on Sunday and Monday. And that kind of holds us into Tuesday. So we don't see a warm up until middle of next week, unfortunately. So huge Arctic blast coming in. And some of those overnight lows look about 10 below, which means it's really going to be feeling like 30 below with those winds slapped on top of it. I think the coldest is going to be Sunday night into Monday morning.
I think in our contract, we don't work if the temperature is below 0. Is that
That's
correct?
right. Yeah, I think
we don't
that's
come
pretty
into
true.
work.
Yeah. We're just going to stay home. So, and no snow in the forecast.
Yeah.
Nothing.
There's only a teeny tiny chance on Friday afternoon where we could see a few. Actually, it looks like a wintry mix first, flipping over to snow as the cold front pushes through. So if we get any precipitation, you know what's behind it. Brutal cold.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you. That's a very positive
Thanks for
note.
brightening our day.
The positives. It's warm. Remember the warm up right now and
That's it.
tomorrow.
Yep.
You have big plans for the weekend? Going to do any traveling?
Goodness, I have no idea yet. I haven't thought that far ahead. This work week
Okay.
has been wild.
Yeah,
Well, we'll ask.
I agree.
We'll ask
All
you again
right.
tomorrow.
All right,
Okay.
Brittany.
Have a
Thank
All
you.
right, Brittany.
All right.
That's Brittany Merlot, our civic media
No, we're-
we just been a weather person.
we were talking about TikTok going away this weekend, and Desi Leidick from The Daily Show had her input on this, and she's asking everyone, please follow me here, follow me there. Let's check it out.
I'll be moving over to RedNote. It's a Chinese app just like TikTok. I'll be posting all of my TikTok style videos over there. I'll also be posting my Get Ready With Me content on Nebula. Follow me on Lemonade, where I'll be posting cap cuts with Pixar filter. Download PixelFed and follow me for stitches, duets, and of course 2.5 DAR collabs with Smart Proxy's influence. PixelFed is dead. I'm over at Flashes now, double basting Carousel iMovies at 1.8. Over at Tugboat, I'll be docu-scanning yassified auto signatures from my W-2s over the last 6 years as part of my Freelancer Die series. For earnest content and professional advice, I'll be posting 60-second semi-live bi-daily macro clips on Dicksuck. When you search that in the App Store, the S is the $sign. Follow me on Mousepad. Follow me on Q44 Select Bus Service. Follow me on Bloomberg News anchor Scarlet Foo's Lunch Break. Follow me on Computer. Follow me on LinkedIn Porn. In the App Store, the P is the $sign. Follow me on Phone. Follow me on Racebook. Follow me on AMC Stubbs Premiere. When you search that in the App Store, the S is the $sign. The P is the $sign.
All right, there you go. So,
Boy, that's a lot of following.
It is. We'll play that back for anybody who wants to continue to find out where she's located. No.
Good to know.
Boy, a lot of options, supposedly, right? But no one can match TikTok. The thing with TikTok is that a lot of people have established businesses on TikTok.
Yes.
So you just can't move over to another alternative. It's just not going to be that easy, or even similar to what you had, the following that you have on TikTok. I can't handle how many people are losing their businesses. The economy is going to get a shocker for all the business losses and the money that enters into our economy. I think that this is just somewhere along the way, somebody's going to come to the rescue. I don't know how this is going to happen.
Well, they only have a few more days, right?
Yeah.
Like
I'm
2 or
not,
3 days.
I'm not a big follower of TikTok, but I do see a lot of videos from TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've never liked the, what? Are we running out of time?
Well, we're just down to a minute here.
Oh, we are?
Yeah.
Well, then I won't go into my long speech that I was about to go into.
Time to put the soapbox away.
Okay. Yeah, just hold your thoughts there,
Yeah,
John.
well, we've got a few things coming up here.
Yes,
we want
we
to
do.
take a look at some of the things that Pam Bondi said during her
Yeah.
interview.
Interview with
so
the
to speak.
Congress. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the hearings. And Bill Barr's got something to say about the fires
about the
out
fires.
in California.
Hey.
It's all coming up on John and Gordy in the morning.
If you're enjoying this program, tell a friend. Then we'll have two listeners, John and Gordy on 92.7 WMDX.
Tell a friend, tell a neighbor.
We need everyone we can get.
And tell your enemies. We don't care.
That's right.
It's all good.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's get to a little truth here, okay? Let's get to some. You don't hear much of it, but comedian Bill Burr appeared on Jimmy Kimmel the other day and talked about the wildfires in California. He had to evacuate his home. The fire did not affect his home, though, but he did have a few things to say with Kimmel. So let's check that out.
I heard you had to evacuate your home.
Yes. Like most people, I had to. I got lucky, the winds moved, but, the fire was coming and all that stuff. So, and I think everybody did a great job.
Yeah.
Unlike the internet,
Yeah, right. I know. It's right.
Oh, my God. All of these fire experts. Why didn't you just fly a helicopter into the ocean? And then just, I don't know, because there was 100-knot winds. You want to do that? You want to do that at night, you lunatic?
How are you?
This was definitely mismanaged.
That's a big word we're hearing now.
Mismanaged, like some idiot on the internet knows how to manage the worst fire in LA, sitting there in his underwear. You know what? Looking at the footage on the internet, I have determined that this here was mismanaged. We all piled into the SUV like everybody else, but no, man, these guys were out there clearing the trees, getting the wires back up and everything. It was like the perfect awful thing that could have happened, and it did. And I love how all the chatter out there is about bands of illegal immigrants and homeless people lighting fires. They light fires every day. They're living outside. They're cold. And this theory that some homeless guy without a car went from Altadena all the way to the Pacific Palisades, and then we have a hang glider. And they're talking about looting. But CNN and Fox News are not going to bring up the insurance companies that are just going to keep everybody's premiums and still give themselves a bonus. Yeah. Yes. Free Luigi.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah, free Luigi. He's still on that. In fact, he went on a little roll for Luigi. But again, revealing what the insurance companies are up to. And the insurance companies have gamed the system to the point where they take your money and they don't pay it out. And that's the long and short of it.
And Bill Burr, I don't know if you know this or not, but he's also a helicopter pilot.
Yes.
Yeah. And so he knows something about what helicopters can do and when they can fly.
Kimmel brought that up, and he goes, I don't know anything about helicopters. I just have one. So, all right. Well, we won't get into that part of it. Oh, I get it. There was an interview with a few Greenlanders out there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're not really happy about the idea of having Trump take over their country. So I have a clip here demonstrating that. Let's check it out.
And the hot topic here has been President-elect Trump's comments about buying this Danish territory. Take a listen.
A lot about Trump and also their opinion about Trump.
I hate it. And basically, I don't know what he's aiming at.
Me personally, I want to stick with Danish government.
All right. Well, they didn't have a lot to say. They don't talk for a long period of time up there. Even though they have tons of time.
Yeah, they probably don't have a ton of people to talk to.
What is the population? Can you look that up, the population of Greenland? I'd like to know.
What do they call them? Greenlandians? Greenlanders? Okay. I'm not quite sure.
That works?
It's about 57,000 people.
In the whole country?
Yeah.
Wow. We have that many people listening to our show. So.
You think so? Okay.
Think so?
I'm not sure.
I'm hoping anyway. Yeah. I really want to get AI robots on our show.
You're trying to put yourself out of the job.
Yeah. Well, maybe. Let's listen to a cut. And this is Aria, the robot. And she's very attractive looking, as a robot is.
Is this from the Consumer Electronics Show?
Yes, this is, yes, I finally got a cut of Aria speaking. Let's listen.
Okay.
I'm Aria, the flagship female companion robot of Realbotics.
What sets you apart from other robots out there?
What sets me apart is my focus on companionship and social interaction, featuring customizable designs and a proprietary AI specifically made for building connections.
What does the word robot mean to you?
To me, the word robot signifies a bridge between technology and human connection, designed to enhance experiences and foster companionship.
Hello.
I'm here to have fun and chat with you.
Have fun.
Well, what a wonderful personality she has.
Well, yeah, she doesn't have a lot to say, I guess, unless you're talking to her. I guess I don't know.
I know what's on John's Christmas list this year.
Oh, really?
That robot, and of course the new Diet Coke. Okay, that came out.
New Diet Coke.
Yeah. Elon.
I thought they already tried new Coke.
Elon posted a tweet on this. The inventor of Diet Coke is a genius. Okay, why is he a genius? Donald Trump just received the first ever presidential commemorative inaugural Diet Coke.
Oh, God.
From
Really?
the CEO of Coca-Cola. Again,
Boy,
billionaires.
Kiss the ring. Kiss the ring.
oligarchy is here. It's amazing. I couldn't see the label, so I don't know what it said, even if it had a picture or maybe just the picture of his hair. That's become a
Yes.
a symbol at this point.
Well, who's next? McDonald's? They're going to come out with something?
Could be.
Yeah.
But, that would have to be red hair. So. All right. So anyway, after Biden's speech, he was asked on his way out, hey, this peace in Gaza, is it Trump or is it you? Who brought about this peace?
Who's responsible?
By the way, they've already violated the terms of the agreement for peace up there. So who knows?
It's a little shaky.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Well, Trump isn't president yet, so Biden's messing this up again. But here is the comment, the person who asked the question and Biden's comment on his way out.
Yep, short and sweet.
Cut 71.
Three books credit for this, Mr. President. You or Trump?
Is that a joke? Oh. Thank you.
There you go. Is that a joke?
A little frosty.
Yeah. Okay, we were talking about technology and Biden's warning about technology.
Right.
The tech.
Yeah.
What is it? Industrial complex.
Oh yeah.
All right.
The tech
and we
industrial
did get a
complex.
text on that from Carrie out in Tosa. Is it Wauwatosa or just Tosa? Amusing Ourselves to Death, a book by Neil Postman over 30 years ago, and his follow-up, Technopoly, warns us about this. I've been petrified about unregulated media since reading these books. So maybe something to catch up on.
Check that out.
Yeah. I think
Go to
that's
the library.
pretty wild.
See that. Okay. Thank you for that. You can give us a call or give us a text at 608-879-8255 or go to the Civic Media app. Do it that way. Makes it easy.
The hearings interviewing the people that Trump wants to be in his administration. I told you that I'm going to wait until the Daily Show comes out with their interpretation of it. I don't have the time for this, and I don't have the emotional stability to sit through these things.
The hearings?
Yes. I can't handle it. It's just, dumbass stuff. And they're going to approve everybody, no matter what they say and do, right?
Seems like it, yes.
But it's inundated with people denying that, okay, they're asked, do you think Biden was elected president? Okay, this is the question that every one of these individuals is being asked. And every one of them thinks we're really stupid when they say President Biden is the president. Not he was elected.
Yeah, they won't say that.
But he's the president. Like we won't notice that? Seriously? I mean, what an insult to our intelligence that they sit. Bondi was especially egregious in this. But first, I just want to start off by Chuck Grassley. He broke the mold.
What did he say?
Before the whole thing started, he broke the mold. Let's listen to Cut 65.
Although Attorney General Garland wasn't who we on this side of the aisle would have chosen to lead the Department of Justice, we recognize that President Biden won that election. And that he was entitled to choose his Attorney General.
There you go. See?
He actually admitted it, huh?
Yes, he actually did that before everybody following him came out and just said, yes, we recognize that Joe Biden is the president. No, that's not the question. Was he elected president? My God, how stupid could these people get?
Well,
anyway.
They held on to that for 4 years.
Well,
now finally down to the last few days.
Right. So Pam Bondi, being interviewed for the Attorney General. Okay.
Right.
Now here's the thing about this. She lied straight-faced in front of everybody. And isn't being really called out for it. Let's hear Cut 66.
Are you prepared to say today under oath without reservation that Donald Trump lost the presidential contest to Joe Biden in 2020?
Ranking Member Durbin, President Biden is the president of the United States. He was duly sworn in, and he is the president of the United States.
Stupid.
There was a peaceful transition of power.
No.
President Trump left office and was overwhelmingly elected in 2024.
No, that's not true either. He was not. In fact, they compiled all the voting for independents and everybody, all the other parties. And what they found was that with all of the other parties added to Kamala's votes, that Trump didn't get the majority of votes.
The popular vote.
Yeah. He didn't get it.
Hmm.
So it's not a mandate. It wasn't overwhelming. Thank you very much, Pam. And well, of course, it was not a peaceful transition at all. And she's sitting there lying. And I just can't believe that this didn't get more attention in the media. Anyway, Senator Mazie Hirono also had a few questions for her. And it's disturbing just to hear this. So let's listen to Cut 67 here.
Who won the 2020 presidential election?
Joe Biden is the president of the United States.
Ms. Bondi, you know that there is a difference between acknowledging it and, I can say that Donald Trump won the 2024 election. I may not like it, but I can say it. You cannot say who won the 2020 presidential election. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
It's disturbing that you can't give voice to that
She's
fact.
not saying anything.
Yeah.
Just
moving on to
total silence, total disrespect. Talking about disrespect. I mean, this was Senator Padilla asked her a question. He did a little research on the 14th Amendment and asked her a question about it. And can you say Karen? Let's call her Karen Bondi, okay? Let's play Cut 68.
I guess you didn't want to hear my answer about
today
Pennsylvania.
after I gave an opportunity to study overnight. So can you tell me and this committee what the citizenship clause of the 14th Amendment says?
Senator, I'm here to answer your questions. I'm not here to do your homework and study for you. If I am confirmed as
You're the
Attorney
one
General,
asking for a confirmation
hey,
vote,
you
ma'am.
cut me off. Can I please finish?
What does the 14th Amendment say?
Senator, the 14th Amendment, we all know, addresses birthright citizenship. I've been a state prosecutor. I've been a state AG. I look forward to, even given your remarks today, working with you and the people of California if I am confirmed as the 87th Attorney General of the United States of America. I didn't take your homework assignment. I'm sorry. I was preparing for today.
Wow, man. Just could we just have her removed from the floor? I mean, seriously.
Man.
Wow. I don't expect much from her at this point.
Well, the hearings go on and on. When is Linda McMahon going to get in front of this? I can't wait for that. All right. 7:49 coming back with tidbits, odds and ends, leftovers.
Terrific if you like eating leftovers.
Leftovers?
Leftovers? I kept the leftovers. The leftovers! Just some leftovers.
Leftovers for a week and a half. He ate those leftovers!
Funeral leftovers. Leftovers. Enjoy.
And this portion of the John and Gordy Morning Show is brought to you by our friends at Verlo Mattress. Sleep better, dream bigger on a handcrafted Verlo mattress. Find them on Madison's east side or west side, or just go online at verlo.com. Be sure to ask about their lifetime guarantee.
92.7 WMDX. Yeah, we've got some leftovers here. This was a post by one of our representatives in the House, and thought he'd bring this to light. House Republicans have introduced legislation to repeal the $35 a month cap on insulin that the Democrats passed.
What?
For seniors on Medicare.
Why would they?
Can you believe that? Wow.
Really?
I guess that's part of their popular agenda. Wow.
What?
All right. And, we were talking about the fires, California fires earlier. I found this story. This is interesting. Jim Jordan was asked about, let's just listen to the clip. This is cut 72.
I'm wondering if you think that the Trump administration should seriously look at moving the Olympics to a red city where you know things are going to be run properly, like a city in Florida, maybe Miami, or maybe Dallas in Texas, or maybe a city in your home state of Ohio. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced that California can manage the Olympics, the World Cup, and the Super Bowl all within a year of each other.
Yeah, especially when they're spending time, quote, Trump-proofing their state, looking for ways to set up barriers and obstacles to what the American people elected us to do, particularly, I think, when it comes to this whole immigration and repatriation issue. So we'll see. I'll leave that up to President Trump and his team once they get up and running here in less than 6 days now. So we'll see. But I do think the American people rightly see how poorly that state is being run, how poorly these tragic fires have been handled by both the governor and of course, the mayor there in Los Angeles.
I think, in Florida, they handled the hurricanes very poorly. A lot of people were flooded out, and neighborhoods were destroyed.
Yeah.
And for some reason, they couldn't handle the rain and the wind. I mean, I don't understand it. We should have just held off, and asked them to change their educational system to have more woke policies included in them. And I think they should change their attitude a little bit. Because who knows? This could be retribution from God, for bad policies, creating the hurricanes and rain.
Yeah.
So somewhere along the way, we really have to hold.
Ought to be held accountable.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yes.
For some reason, these states have got to be held accountable as well. Strings attached to their help. God.
It's crazy.
All right. Now, we were talking about Pam Bondi. I do have a cut that I did discover, and this is way back from 2023, August. And if you want to know what kind of AG she's going to be, well, let's check cut 73 here.
The Department of Justice, the prosecutors will be prosecuted, the bad ones. The investigators will be investigated because the deep state, last term for President Trump, they were hiding in the shadows, but now they have a spotlight on them.
Hiding in the shadows. She's going to go after everybody. This is going to happen, and we're going to see this happen before our very eyes.
Can't wait.
All right. Well, I've been promising this leftover for a long time. This is the Consumer Electronics Show Best Of. Okay. And so why don't we check that out? This is cut 50.
This is CES 2025, where tech companies from around the world gather in Las Vegas to wow us with their hot new technology and bring solutions to our biggest problems. And we're here to award the best of the best. These are the official 2025 Best of CES winners awarded by CNET Group, which is a team of sites made up by CNET, ZDNet, Mashable, PCMag, and Lifehacker. For transportation and mobility, Honda takes the win with its 0 Series SUV and 0 Series sedan electric vehicles. These look like they're straight out of a science fiction movie. It has a battery that can charge in 15 minutes, and the vehicle is also powered by a new artificial intelligence chip. These are prototypes, but Honda says the final designs are close to what we see at the show. No pricing details, but the plan is to launch these vehicles in North America in 2026. In the sustainability category, the award goes to Flint's Paper Batteries.
Yes.
This startup company from Singapore developed a scalable solution to traditional lithium-ion batteries. The key component here is cellulose, but it is flexible. It can be as small as a coin battery. And when these batteries are no longer needed, it can decompose in 6 weeks. The company recently secured $2 million in seed funding to run a pilot project this year. For the gaming category, the award goes to the Lenovo Legion Go S. It stands apart from other gaming handhelds for its operating system. There will also be a version with Windows 11, but there's a version as well with Valve Steam OS. That makes it the only portable gaming system that officially runs Steam that isn't from Valve. That's big news if you want a Steam Deck alternative. The Go S will be the cheapest Legion Go device when it ships in May, starting at $600. For best wellness and fitness tech, the award goes to the Oslo Sleep Buds. The design makes sure they stay put and that you don't feel them when you are sleeping on your side. But for $300, it also has several features. It blocks out outside noise so you don't hear someone snoring next to you. It also has biometric sensors that track sleep, an in-ear alarm, a 10-hour battery, and it plays audio. For the category of privacy and security, the award goes to the UltraLock Bolt Mission UWB Plus NFC. It offers several innovations that make it the most impressive and secure smart lock that we've seen to date. It also can sense your location within inches. And it has the awareness to know which side of the door you're on.
That's
There's
fantastic.
hands-free
Doesn't that
unlocking,
just
but
know
also
what
it has
side of the door
backups,
you're
like
on?
using
I really want
NFC
that.
for
I did
tap
have an
to unlock
UltraLock,
entry.
the older versions, which weren't very good, but this
that on
sounds hopeful.
Yeah, put that on my Christmas list.
Well,
Okay. Okay.
all right.
Hey, that's going to do it for us for this Thursday. Tomorrow, Pam Yankee will join us from the Midwest Farm Report. Also in for Rocker,
Yes.
Jimmy K with a Max Inc. preview. That's going to do it for us for today. John, you have a great Thursday. Okay?
Gordy, you have
Same-
a great Thursday as
same
well.
to you.
No,
Let's
you have a
celebrate the
great
You
weekend.
have a great
Oh, wait.
Hey,
You have
Stephanie Miller's